After what happened, my sister left. For a while we had a contact from time to time, but then we heard nothing for years. She had changed her address and vanished. It's like she's been dead for some time now. But once we got a postcard, it was sent to my mom from Brazil. A few months ago, my mom got a new job and decided to move away from our hometown. She randomly found a key while she was packing down stuff into boxes. The key was on the keyring that used to belong to my sister. There was a yellow plastic tag attached to the keyring that had some strange combination of letters. My mom and my brother thought that they had to figure out this combination in order to gain more knowledge or clue of where the key might lead them. In order to unravel the combination of the letters, my mom and my brother started to manically play Scrabble. They played for 13 months, but with no luck of any solution.
Over here, nothing reminds me of where I'm from. No streets, no buildings, no people, no items. Not even music evokes any feeling of nostalgia. It is not connected to my past in any way. That makes me feel free, but then, when I think about home, memories come back so intense that I often get sad. Before I go to sleep, I always imagine that I'm cycling around my hometown. I always cycle the same route. I know the streets so well. Sometimes I lie and think about faces too. I try and remember as many faces from home as possible until I fall asleep. In the flat where I live now, there's a small storage space in the bathroom over the sink. Nobody could have been looking in there for years. I opened it one day and just by chance I found so many amazing things. It was a suitcase there, an electric blanket and a vinyl player, but it was eaten by fungus. I also found a big bunch of photographs. The damp had almost destroyed them as well. With a magnifying glass I could see that there were the same 3 people in all of the photographs. Many of them are of a young woman playing the violin. I also found many cassette tapes in there. They were all jazz music. My grandmother used to be really good at playing the piano. She had this brown, small, ordinary-looking piano at home, but it was a very special piano for us because we loved the music that came out of it. When she got older, she got pains in her hands and couldn't play anymore. She told me that she wanted me to have her piano. I kept it, of course. I couldn't just throw it away. That piano is my childhood. One day maybe I could ship it over, but it's probably broken by now. It hasn't been tuned in a very long time. But still, pianos are so beautiful even if they are broken. They look so amazing inside. It's like another hidden world that you never get to see otherwise. And you can even make different sounds with the metal strings. If you take the piano keys apart, then they look so different. They change in shape. The back part of them in wood makes them longer and less polished looking. They become more independent as well, like their own items. When we were kids, we used to write one sentence on each one. So if you laid them together side by side on the floor, it became a story.
I used to always go to the library and borrow home books. I think that if someone read as much as I did, then many characters starts to grow inside your head. Our family had very little money. We came from a home where us children didn't get many material things. But my mother worked as a cleaner at school, so she took home notebooks from there. So what I used to do was to borrow one book at a time and then go home and write down the entire book, word by word, in these notebooks. We were sleeping in bunk beds because we lived in a tiny flat, and my sister had a pull-out mattress where she slept. The bottom bed had a curtain that could be pulled away, so it became like a stage. My sister must only have been a few years old, and I got her and my brother to act behind the curtain. I mean, it was only my mother that would have been watching, but it was still really important to say, And now the theater will start, and pull away the curtain slowly. Then we would tell stories or play different characters on the bed behind it. The wallpaper in the bedroom was white with faded roses in a sort of a pattern. And I remember that you could look at those roses in a way so they looked like rabbits. And I used to lie there and talk to rabbits out loud. I imagined that the rabbits were different characters out of the books I had read. So, in a way, they became alive in my head, so I could talk to them. And then the characters came to be part of myself. Our family didn't move around that much. We tend to stay out in our suburb most of the time. So when I was 13 or 14, we went with high school to an established theater. It was a big happening, not only to visit the theater, but also just to go into the city center. We went there with the class, and I remembered that it was a Shakespeare play, but I don't remember which one. It could have been A Midsummer Night's Dream, because I remember that they were dancing wearing those Indian pants with tiny bells on their feet that jingled when they danced. And one of those bells detached themselves from one of the dancers' feet and started to roll down the stage, and we sat on the first row. The bell was rolling straight in the direction of myself, and I managed to catch it. And I held it in my hand, and I never gave it back. I kept it, and I still have it today. And for me, that was a sign. But only for me. I never told anyone, because this was a secret agreement between the stage and myself that I was going to become an actress.
2nd of October 2013. Thank you for your letter. I have to admit that I also collect many things. The walls in my flat are full of various objects. I like it that way. It makes me feel less lonely somehow. I think people in general feel safer with their things around them, or otherwise people tend to have a dog. I believe that humans have a need to build their nests, just like birds do. That way people feel like they belong somewhere, that they have their home. You have a lot of questions. I understand that you are curious. I also want to get answers, but I have none to give you. I still don't know whose belongings there are. There are quite a few things in the storage space. Most of it is packed up in cardboard boxes, but a lot of it is in plastic bags and bin bags. I have to admit that I have been going through most of the things in there in order to find more information. But even though there are a lot of items, there are very few personal things. Sometimes I wonder if it is on purpose. Maybe the person doesn't want to be found. Then would you not just throw all your belongings away?